on demand by searching USA Classic Radio Theater. USA Classic Radio Theater.
Representative Rob Whitman, Republican of Virginia, who on Friday announced a bill to establish an Afghanistan Withdrawal Commission, says the Biden administration will regret leaving Kabul because the U.S. military will no longer have a place to establish counterterrorism efforts. Whitman, along with Representative Elise Stefanik, Republican of New York,
James Arness.
proposed the creation
James
of a
Arness.
national commission.
Gunsmoke. I forgot about Gunsmoke.
It
was Glenn Hughes' birthday yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Full evaluation and vetting of all the conditions that have happened through the years.
Let me get him
from
up.
9/11 to now.
Let me get that
to
up.
see what's uncovered,
Talk a little bit about
get the
Glenn.
facts on what has happened in
As
these
well.
last several weeks, but understand the context
gonna wing it
of what's
today.
happened over the years and all these different administrations.
Whole bunch
I
of
think
different
that's what the
topics.
American people deserve to know.
The Pentagon is looking at pressing commercial airliners into service.
We'll talk about Matt Dillon. We'll talk about the Sheriff Matt Dillon.
Dan Naraki reporting.
They didn't talk about the hurricane.
And we're going to talk about the hurricane today. Yes.
USA News didn't even mention the hurricane.
What?
They haven't even mentioned the hurricane yet.
They haven't?
No.
I was only half listening, so I don't know. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
Maybe they did this on Saturday or something.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
From the Afghan capital. From the USA Radio News Ohio Bureau, I'm Dan Naraki.
For USA Radio News, I'm Brad Bernards.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and do not express the views
Your
of
red mic.
WVBF ownership
Let me get my
or Hometown Talk Radio.
open going here. Let me get my open going.
The host and their guests.
Okay. Your red mic. Alright.
Hey,
It's not-
Charlie, what's happening? I mean, what's happening?
I love this
in
intro. I really do.
towns. It's time for the Middleboro Week in Review with your host, Joey Driscoll. Stay tuned for news, Middleboro News, here on AM 1530 WVBF. Hey, Joey, what's happening?
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Middleboro in Review. And that's Tony Lopes' voice, as it is every week for our open. I love that open. You did a really great job on that. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Tony.
Yeah.
That was an awesome open, and I enjoy it a lot. So. Yeah, so it is the 22nd of August. It is windy, rainy, stormy, a little cold out there, a little bit.
A little wet.
A little cold out there. It's a little hot in here. That's why I mentioned it's a little cold out there, because it's a little hot in here. I'm feeling it, but anyway.
No sun.
No sun, yeah. We probably won't see it until Tuesday. So, yes, we are in the midst of a hurricane. Henri is on its way to making landfall. Right around the westerly Rhode Island and Connecticut border, right around there. Right around that area.
That's what they say. If they hit there, it's really gonna affect Westerly, Stonington, Mystic, which is a real Mystic is a real old town. I mean, all those towns are, but Mystic is really historic in a way. And then you got Charlestown, Rhode Island, and all along the beaches up that side of Rhode Island, all those low-lying areas. So if that's the case, well, be really careful down there, especially along Route 1. That's low-lying down that way. So just take this very seriously. The best thing to do is stay home and play checkers.
There'll be
watch YouTube.
there will be impacts along the coast as it makes landfall. Marinas down here have requested that people take their boats out of the water.
Well, requested.
Yeah.
It's too late now. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's too late now.
Actually, my brother has a boat down in Wareham down in Stonebridge Marina, and they were like pestering him to get it out. He pulled his boat out on Friday, so he said he's glad he did. He beat the rush. I'm sure a lot of people were doing that yesterday, probably waiting hours to pull their boat out of the water, and it's kind of a drag when you got to do it this way because people say, should I put the boat back in now? And having more storms, it's always, they always wonder, but I mean, it's just, you got to protect your property as best you can. This storm kind of snuck up on us.
It did, yes, it did. So there is a hurricane watch being issued for western Kent County and Rhode Island. And it is forecast, Henri, to impact southern New England Sunday, today, and into Monday. Forecasters believe that Henri may produce landfall amounts of 2 to 5 inches. I'm hearing more than that. I'm hearing 4 to 8 now. So right around there, 2 to 5, 4 to 8, depending on where you are. Over southern New England Sunday into Monday, with isolated maximum totals near 8 inches. Heavy landfall from Henri may result in areas of flash, urban, and small stream flooding. So a lot of small rivers may see some flooding from this storm. So it's going to be a pretty significant and sizable storm.
Hopefully this area doesn't really get hit. Hopefully power remains intact. But as far as this is the time to charge all your electronic devices, make sure your cell phones are plugged in.
Yes.
Everything that you need to get plugged in
Yes.
is done.
I agree, yeah.
Just make sure. And if you do lose power, as far as preserving your food, try not to make trips to the refrigerator as much as every time they open that door in the refrigerator, all cold air goes out because you don't want to ruin your food sources, especially the price of food these days. So you'll be really careful about that. People with generators, outside generators, just try to be careful as far as we put the generators, watch the carbon monoxide levels. People who are working in the basement, as far as flooded basements with manual sun pumps. A lot of people have their own sun pumps. Some people have sun pumps with battery backups, which is good for the coastal areas. And then the manual ones, though, you gotta remember, if you have a manual one of those just regular pumps that pump out swimming pools, they're really good because you can move them around. But don't leave them going and walk up and forget about them, because either, number one, you'll burn the pump out, and you don't want to cause a fire, and you want the pump. So if you're getting a little extra water in your basement more than your regular sump pump, and you want to do like another side where you kind of have to stay down there and in the basement and move it from place to place. You kind of have to babysit the basement per se. You just can't go up and take a nap.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really need to stay on top of things if you haven't flooded, because you can come down 2 hours later and you could be your basement could be underwater, depending on where you're located. And always look for far away from the house. You really don't want to be putting the hose near someone else's basement. So there's a lot of factors. Anybody who's lived at a certain property kind of knows the deal. But I'm thinking people who move into new houses, they come from different parts of the country, they may not know, but it's just really common sense. I'm sure online you can look up basic safety tips as far as getting through a hurricane. Have your flashlights ready. Have everything. And if you need to evacuate. If you think it's going to be bad, just your family can't. You don't want to put the fire and rescue personnel in jeopardy if you don't have to. They're busy enough. They're going to be busy enough.
Yeah.
Okay, they got to be busy enough. And one other thing too, if you lose power, be patient. Those guys are out there working the lines. They come in. I bet you get people from all over this country coming where they're doing as best they can to put the power on. And I've heard of incidents where people are mean. I've talked to a couple power line guys, because I remember a couple years ago in March we had that weather event. All that, we had all that rain and whatever, and all that wind, and some parts of the state lost power for days. And I remember pulling up, and I pulled up in the oil truck, and I was It was kind of weird. I was playing Wichita Lineman by Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
And they're all like, hey, it was a tribute to them. I said, hey, guys, anything I do for you when we get caught? Oh, we're all set. And we was talking to some of the power guys, and he said some people just come up and they just screaming at him that the power ain't on. Just selfish people. Just don't be like that. These guys are out working in the rain. They're away from their families. The people, those are the unsung heroes, in my opinion. The guys up they're away from their families and they're getting your power back, so you can have a comfortable life.
Yeah, in that song, it has a lot of importance.
It really does. It touches a lot of people's heart as far as the song, Wichita Lineman. And every time I always think of that, I play the song, and if we had a music license, we'd play it today, right?
Yes, we would. Yeah, but, absolutely.
That's just the nature of the game, and these guys are out working. Same with in the winter when people are trying to get heat fixed in the middle of the winter. It's just how it is. That switch you turn on isn't a magical switch. There's mechanisms behind that switch to turn your lights on and get your power, get your AC. There's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people behind that switch that could make it happen. So you just need to, I think a lot of people just need to. Most people are all right. I mean, I think 90% of people are great, but there's that 10% of people are just selfish, and I mean, maybe they get caught up in things because it's really inconvenience or whatever. But you got to look at the other people trying to get your power back on, trying to get your food, because a lot of the supermarkets, a lot of food's gone now because people panic and they buy too much. Same with gas, they buy too much gas. It's good to have a full tank. I got a full tank, just in case I lose the power. I have gasoline, but I'm not gonna store it in any bags anytime soon. You know what I mean?
So, what do we have planned for today's show? Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about. We're gonna have a little bit of miscellaneous topics today. We are gonna talk about the careers of Glenn Hughes, who is a famous British bassist. Been in many, many great bands like Deep Purple. We're going to talk a little bit about his career.
And singer.
He's also a singer, yes.
He's known more for singing.
He's known more for singing in bands like Black Country Communion. In Deep Purple as well. He's done some singing as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about his career. His birthday was yesterday. I think he's 70. So happy birthday.
Looks like he's 30. Long hair, so he's like a little kid.
And we're also going to talk about the career of James Arness. As you may have heard on the USA Radio News, they have this program that they do, playing like old radio classics. And James Arness was in some old radio classics. And Matt Dillon, one of his famous characters from the TV show Gunsmoke as well. So we'll talk a little bit about James Arness, Matt Dillon.
In the 70s and 80s, I think James Arness did he did a series called How the West Was Won. I remember watching that as a kid. And that was a mini-series, and I think it aired on one of the major networks. I'm not sure if it was ABC, NBC, or CBS, but that was cool. I remember that in 78, 79, 80, somewhere around that. And that was a mini-series, which was really good. And that was later on, but yeah.
And we'll also have Today in History, and we'll have an update on 4-H Fair. Like I've mentioned during the past couple of days, it is canceled, yes, but there will be a yard sale in its place. So it is not, the fair itself is canceled, but there is still going to be something going on. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And we'll also take phone calls if anyone is interested in calling in today. 508-822-1106. Again, 508-822-1106 is the number. We are going to take a short break for some commercials. We're going to hear from Talking Birds, the Talking Birds promo. We're going to hear from Spark Street and everything else. We're going to hear from Emerald Isle, Jim Larkin promo. By the way, Jim Larkin.
Anywho.
Jim Larkin will not be in this afternoon, so there will be a recorded show played this afternoon. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on Middleboro in review for August 22nd.
You know what you should mention too is that during the we'll be here all day.
Yep.
Until 2 anyway.
Yep.
And anytime I can sneak in between three and give you updates on the storm, I will. Any changes, I'll keep you posted.
All right.
That way, you never know. There's people out there who don't. They just maybe listen to one station. They don't like other stations.
Yeah.
Maybe they listen to another station and turn them off. So they say, "I'm never watching that station again." So you know,
Yeah.
Your news might be the only news people get.
Yeah.
Association is an association of combat veterans from all branches of the United States Armed Forces who ride motorcycles as a hobby. Our mission
I'm gonna
is
go
to
down to
support
Tom's
those who have defended
Probably about
our
9.
country
See how he's doing, and I'll be back to
Our
get you.
focus
Yeah,
is to help
okay.
veteran
Good.
care
So, yep,
facilities
I'm done at 2.
meal,
I'm done at 2 as far as I know.
We should think about doing something. If it's hot all this week, I gotta do a job on Thursday. I gotta do oil.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be tied up all week.
50 states and living abroad. Many members continue to serve in our armed forces.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be hot on Tuesday, Thursday, and
I'd rather-
Tuesday,
I'd rather-
Wednesday, and
if it's hot,
Thursday.
I'd rather do oil than
Motorcycle-related charity
what,
events
you know,
each year.
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, it's going to be hot the next
There's
couple
gonna be
of
enough
days.
nice weather in September. I got a whole list of stuff I'll bang up so fast.
To learn
Yeah.
more about the Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association and how you can join or support, please visit cvma2-2.org.
Hi, this is Ray Brown, inviting you to tune in to Talking Birds, a show about
Far up.
birds,
I
birding, and
can't
conservation
see.
right here on WPBF.
I'm not certain. It sounds like it's pouring.
Yeah, it's raining.
Join us for informative.
It sounds like it's pouring at times.
Yeah, it's pouring, but I mean, that's super
It's Talking
super.
Birds.
No,
Saturday
no.
mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 9. Here on
Good days to be indoors.
AM
It is.
Hang out on the radio
and
station.
99.7 FM.
Spark Street Auto Body, located at 48 Spark Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, offers the highest quality collision repair.
You got-
and
should tell the
auto service for
listeners
your
that.
car. They are a direct repair
Mark
shop
won't have a
with
problem with
all
that, right?
major
What?
insurance companies.
You
You can reach
giving
them
updates
at
about the.
I don't think so. I think it's important to do so.
Well, just let people know, hey, look, I'm gonna be on here all day. I'm gonna be doing the rest of the shows. I'm gonna be doing a gym show,
Yeah.
and when I can pop in and give you an update, I will. Right? During the course of the show.
Should I play the Emerald Puma? Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Hi, this is Jim Larkin. Hope you can join me every Sunday from noon to 2 o'clock here on
We'll give you a
WPBF.
show.
Sounds of the
Oh, yeah,
Emerald
yeah.
We'll have some great Irish music, some folk, traditional, country, and contemporary, and sometimes some live
All right,
singers
let's go
in the
sit back
studio.
a bit.
And to make you laugh, some
Do you have the
Irish
CD?
fun.
You find the
This
CD?
Sunday,
Hold on.
noon to 2
I'm gonna go right
here
back
on
into it.
You find the CD?
Yes.
1530 Taunton, Middleboro, and on the internet at hometowntalkradio.com.
All right, so Sounds of the Emerald, again, I just want to mention, will be a recorded program this afternoon at 12 to 2 o'clock. So a pre-recorded program of all Irish music and Irish comedy.
Do you have the CD there?
The CD is behind me, yes. Yes, I have it.
Okay.
For the 9 millionth time, Dad.
Well, I just figured what date was it? Is there a date on it?
Yeah,
Is it like...
March 21st.
So that's got to be pretty much a St.
2020.
Patty's Day almost.
March 21st, 2020. Yeah, I think...
Yeah. So he's got to be playing a lot of St. Patty's Day. Well, it's going to be like a St. Patty's Day kind of
yeah.
feel to it. So
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. 7:24 a.m. here.
For the 9 million one time.
It's a little annoying after the 9 millionth time.
I'm good like that. You know that, right?
I know. Yes. So 4-H fair. 4-H fair. Yes. Don, you are correct. It is not happening this year, but...
You know why I found out? Because I tuned into Middleboro Matters on Thursday and you told me.
But there will be a little bit of a yard sale in its place. So they're going to have a yard sale on Labor Day weekend, Saturday, September 4th, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And on Sunday, they're going to have a bag sale, September 5th. And again, that's the same time as well, 8 a.m. to 3. So there will still be something going on at the 4-H fair grounds, just not the fair. It will be a yard sale. They canceled it again this year due to COVID-19 concerns. There's some rising cases in the area, so they have decided to cancel it this year. This year there'll be no Crazy Days. Usually, I believe this weekend, or next weekend, would be right around the time where we would have Crazy Days. I think it was at the beginning of August.
I think it was the second week of August.
Second week of August? Okay.
Yeah,
I think so. So
yeah.
Last week would have been when we would have had Crazy Days. Yeah. But it will be back next year. Yeah.
Well, they need a year to plan it.
Definitely, they do.
That's been canceled since June.
Yes, they need a year to really plan that because it is a massive weekend.
And by that time,
of interesting things
I'm sure more
going on
people
there.
will be vaccinated. And I think, just kind of switching gears here, sorry to interrupt you, I think some vaccination sites need to be opened up again.
Yes.
I think once they started closing them down, I think people started getting a little comfortable as far as the vaccinating.
I think maybe smaller places.
Well,
I don't know if I would open.
I guess you can get them anywhere.
You can get them anywhere. Yes, I think, but I would open up some smaller places.
Right.
Some like community centers or something like that, where you can get the vaccine. I wouldn't be reopening, mass vaccine sites.
If it works.
But if it works, yes, you could.
Because I'm not sure if you can walk right into a drugstore right now and get it. You still gotta make an appointment.
Because I believe there is going to be a booster shot too that is going to be with this. So maybe it will be needed. The mass vaccination sites again will be needed for that. If we have any information on that, we'll tell you.
It was one thing since I've got my shots. I still avoid crowds as much as I can.
Yeah.
Even now.
I do too.
The whole idea of just getting on a crowded anything and getting near people is you gotta work your way back into that, I think.
Yeah.
People want to have fun and whatnot, but I'm not gonna go jump on a crowded line somewhere. I'm not gonna go to amusement park and go wait in line and be shoulder to shoulder with people. That's just my personal choice. I want to stay healthy. I don't know. I didn't get sick the whole time. We were here broadcasting every Sunday, and we had a handful of people around the radio station. Everyone seemed to be all right. Mm-hmm. Everyone took the precautions. Manager made it safe for us, and which we all appreciate. And that's how we roll, how we move forward, and so I'm not discouraging anyone to do anything they want. They can do anything they want. My personal choice is I just try to stay away from massive crowds at this point in time.
Before I forget, because we always do this on the show, the Driscoll, Texas, and Driscoll, North Dakota weather. Driscoll, Texas, 76 degrees currently, 97 for the high today. So a hot day in Driscoll, Texas. There's still going to be a couple weeks of hot weather.
In Driscoll, Texas?
In Driscoll, Texas, yeah. There's going to be a couple weeks of that left. And actually, there will be a mini heat wave here after the storm passes.
We're going to get some Driscoll, Texas.
We're going to get some Driscoll, Texas-like weather down here.
Down here or
up here? Sorry, up here.
If you want to go to Canada and across the Arctic Circle and down around the other side of the world, you'll eventually get to Texas, but that's not the recommended route. It's so funny.
I don't know why I keep saying that, but
my buddy Mickey.
Anyway,
that. He texted me, great show, but
Anyway, yes. So
you can go that way.
We're gonna be having that type of weather on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I believe. It'll be 90-degree weather here in Taunton, Middleboro area. But Driscoll, Texas, currently 76 degrees, 97 for the high today.
Oh, it's
Driscoll.
It's raining now. I can hear it.
Yes, it's picking up a little bit.
Wind's picking up there at the VBF studios.
As the hurricane's getting closer to landfall. I don't know exactly when it will make landfall. I have to look that up. Driscoll, North Dakota, 60 degrees currently, 77 for the high today, and some rain in the forecast. Okay, maybe during the next segment I'll try to get an update on when it will make landfall. I'll try to see what's going on with the radar and try to get a pinpoint of when it's going to make landfall. The eye of the storm is going to make landfall. But, the first bands are obviously moving in. It just hasn't made landfall, as far as I know, yet. So, we'll be talking about that in the next segment. Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about Glenn Hughes. So, Glenn Hughes celebrated his 70th birthday yesterday. He was the former bassist of a little band called Deep Purple.
Mach 3.
Yes, the Mach 3 version, the third lineup of that band.
From 1974 to 1976.
And actually, Mach 4 as well. There was a fourth iteration of the lineup as well of Deep Purple that he was in as well. And that was with Tommy Bolin.
Anybody who knows the name David Coverdale of Whitesnake, I think he made it really well with his band Whitesnake after that band broke up. He worked with David Coverdale. He worked with Richie Black. He worked with a lot of great artists and great songwriter. He was like instrumental in the success of the band as far as the writing and music arrangements. He was unbelievable.
He was one of the members who created the supergroup Black Country Communion, which is amazing. They have four great albums of just great, awesome blues, hard rock type material, and it's just an amazing band, Black Country Communion. He currently is the singer of Dead Daisies, which is another great band as well. And
yeah, he's worked his way with a lot of people. He's worked with Gary Moore. He's worked with a lot of people. Gary Moore. Who else, Joey? Come on, you know this. A lot of solo.
Yeah, Gary Moore. Jimmy. I think he's worked with Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah, Jimmy Barnes.
He's worked with. I mean, the list, it just goes on and on and on. He's worked with David Draymond on a project, the singer of Disturbed.
Tony Iommi.
He's worked on a project
Tony
with him.
Iommi from Black Sabbath.
Tony Iommi, yes. He was in Black Sabbath for a time.
He had one album, and then that didn't work out for him because it was technically supposed to be a Tony Iommi solo album, but the brass said, let's make it a Sabbath album, but it was dumb. Yeah,
so he is also frontman for California Breed, which was a short-lived band, had Jason Bonham in it, and that didn't work out too well.
Well, Jason went on to bigger things.
Yes.
He went on because Jason was doing the Led Zeppelin experience and he was working with Hart.
And also Andrew Watt, went on to much bigger things as well. He is now a massive producer in the music industry. A completely massive name.
Oh, yeah. That was his first break. Actually, Julian Leonard introduced Glenn to Andrew. And that band was formed from the third album of Black Country Communion because Jason Bonham was in Black Country Communion along with Joe Bonamassa, Glenn Hughes, and Derek Sherinian. So after their third album, Afterglow, I think Joe was want to go back to his solo stuff because he was obviously more successful with the solo stuff, more people, ticket sales and more money for sure. But it's just they wanted to move on, and that band was formed. California Breed was formed from, and the reason Glenn didn't want to move on as far as when Jason left, he just should have did sound the same. But we got a great album anyway, and I think that lineup did a few tour dates. So you never know if that could ever be replicated again. It might. But it's good how you have one artist going through so much stuff. He's done blues albums, he's done Christmas albums. We could spend 3 hours on this, but I don't think we got the time.
Any fans of Moody Blues? John Lodge actually was very instrumental in really the start of Glenn Hughes' career.
Threshold was the name of the...
Yes, Threshold Records.
Yep.
John Lodge produced the first 2 albums of a band called Trapeze, and Glenn Hughes was in that. This is his first band. And it made a lot of money. Those 2 albums made so much money. They were huge. Especially the second one, Medusa. A lot of great rock songs on that album. And John Lodge is a wonderful producer, for sure. And Moody Blues fans definitely should check these 2 albums out, the first 2 Trapeze albums, because John Lodge producing, he does a very good job doing that.
You played it for me. It was off the first album. It's called Hooray, the Giant's Dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I remember when I used to listen to the oldies station back in the 90s, that was one of the songs they used to play. That was like an oldies hit that was on most DJ set lists for oldies radio stations. And I was like, wow, I heard this song. Oh my God. I mean, if we played it right now, people are like, yeah, I know that song. I remember hearing that. And it's funny how those 2 albums came out in the same year. They went from pretty much that kind of oldies feel, almost psychedelic almost, a little edgier at the end of the year, you know. They started getting a little more hard, a little heavier, more drums, bass, you know, classical rock.
So we want to wish Glenn Hughes a happy birthday.
Yeah.
70 years old.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's
still playing.
I mean, just go and check out on YouTube. Just go on. I mean, if you don't like the harder stuff, you'll find something that you like. He does everything because he does mellow stuff. He kind of did a disco album in '77, his first solo album.
His first solo album is definitely disco album.
It was almost like a disco album. It was really funky roots, you know, soul and funk, and you could see that was the leading. He was leading. Disco was, you know, was taking shape. It was starting to get big in 77, 76, 77, and he saw the writing on the wall when he parted from Deep Purple. He's like, let's put a solo album, let's do it this way. And that was one of the reasons Deep Purple broke up with Richie Blackmore, because Richie's like, we're doing it's too much funk.
He doesn't. Yeah, he didn't want to do that. Yeah,
but I mean, you never believe it because the guy was like, hey, you know, he did so much. Listen to those 2 albums he did with Mark III Deep Purple. I mean, he played his heart out on some of those guitars.
He really did. He played his heart out on some of those albums and some of those live albums.
Don't tell me he didn't like it.
Don't tell me he didn't like it because he played his heart out on those live albums.
You know what? He met Ronnie James Dio, and that was it.
And he knew he was leaving Deep Purple,
right?
And he still played his heart out with those live albums. Those last couple of albums there, and those live albums just before he left.
They're kind of hidden gem albums. Not many people know that portion of the band. They know, you know, Smoke on the Water. They know Machine Head. They know the first few albums. Hush.
There's a couple of live albums that are, you know, that are big live albums. You know, made in Europe, made in Japan, which is another big one.
Right, but I mean, there's a there's a lot of like softer songs in those lineup too. So I don't know, not to.
I mean, I know a lot of fans of Deep Purple may not know that. That there was actually a live album with the first edition of the lineup. There actually is a album out there of the first
and the current lineup of Deep Purple now, which still is up to Mach 9. With all the different lineup changes.
Joe Satriani, I believe, was in Deep Purple.
Well, he toured. You know?
Yeah, he toured.
Steve Morse,
he toured.
Don Airey, everybody. I mean, then Mach 2 got back together in '84 and did 2 albums. So, I mean, if you like music and it's just, you know, you want to dip into something that's different, you never heard before, go on YouTube.
All right. So let's switch gears to James Arness, because I want to talk about him too. So, why I wanted to talk about James Arness is because, like I said earlier, the USA Radio News has this, or the USA Radio thing. They have a program of old radio classics, and James Arness, of course, has been in some of those. I'm sure of it. And his best-known character, Marshal Matt Dillon, he played that character for 20 years. Gunsmoke. He has been in so many different things as well. He also came back to do something with Gunsmoke in '87. And also in the 90s as well, he did 4 movies made for TV for Gunsmoke as well. He reached cult status for his role as Zeb McCann in the Western series How the West Was Won. He is was the older actor brother of Peter Graves, who was another amazing television and film actor. Some of the movies he was in. So, of course, he was in all those Gunsmoke films in the 80s and 90s. There were some Gunsmoke films. He was in some others, like in the 50s, movies like Horizons West, Double Crossbones, Wyoming Mail. In the 60s, well, it doesn't seem like he was in any in the 60s, but he was in a lot of television stuff. The Lone Ranger, Gunsmoke, McLean's Law, How the West Was Won, and he was in some other TV series as well. So he was an amazing, like I said, amazing TV actor. And we lost him about 10 years ago. He passed away at the age of 88. Don, a couple of thoughts about James Arness.
He's the coolest of cool. He was old school, in my opinion. I remember, when I was young, I remember How the West Was Won. I remember watching that miniseries, and the networks did a lot of those, especially in the late 70s. They did a lot of that. They did miniseries and stuff like that. So that was a memory to watch a whole week of that, and I think they came back with other versions over the years or whatnot. But that's when he was, getting a little older. Yeah, those are just memorable shows. I mean, my father liked the westerns a lot, so every time I went over my father's, he'd always have those old westerns on, and it's just I sat down and watched them with him, and that brings memories of my father. Likes watching the old westerns. So every time I see an old western, I just think of my dad, because he's like he watched them all the time. And when he moved down to Florida, lived with my sister for many years, he said, "Daddy had to have his westerns, so I got to make sure he's got his westerns. I got to make sure he's got all the cowboy channels." And she made sure all that he had the cowboy channels for him, and that made him happy. I mean, he didn't ask for much. He just would sit home and do his thing when he was retired, and he'd just go and watch his Cowboys,
All right, 7:44 a.m. When we come back, we are going to do a sports segment a little bit. We are going to talk a little bit about events coming up. We'll talk about the food pantry. We're going to talk about the blood drives in Halifax. And sports segment, and then Today in History. So we'll be right back here on Middleboro in Review. It is the 22nd of August. Okay.
If you could, Joe, mention that before you sign off that I'm here, till 2.
Yeah.
And then if I can sneak an update in between my program, I sure will try to keep you posted.
Yes.
Blah, 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 blah. And look, try to get an update, too, before you sign off as far as where the storm's hitting. And
yeah.
You want me to look it up, or you can look it up on that, right?
Yeah, I can look it up on this.
Anybody else doing it, or just Scott?
On the path. Just Scott today, it looks like. Hi, Scott. How is it going?
New system installations met all Title V needs.
When is it gonna make landfall? Does anyone know?
They service all of Bridgewater and the South Coast. To contact them, call 508-735
Approaching.
7966 or email.
We know when it's gonna make landfall. That is
gmail.com. You will not be disappointed.
131. 131. Enter.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is now recommending that fully vaccinated people begin wearing masks
63.
indoors again in places with high COVID-19 transmission rates. The agency is also recommending that children wear masks in schools this fall. Federal health officials
6 a.m. Sunday. Hurricane Henry is located 65 miles south-southeast of Montauk Point, New York, 105 miles south of Providence, moving slightly west at 18 miles per hour. Sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. So it's barely a hurricane. And it is now a tropical storm. So I think it's going to make a landfall in the next hour or two. I don't have an exact time when it will, though. 3, 2, 1, enter.
Every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 12 noon, listen in for the best
New
in
promo.
local talk radio. It's Coffee with Tony. Join host Tony Lopes for 3 hours of talk, guest interviews,
I'm doing great.
and much, much more. Every Tuesday
Who's that,
a.m.
Scott?
Yep.
here on your hometown
He says
radio station,
he's okay.
AM 1530 and 99.7 FM WBBF.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association is an association of combat
That's
veterans
gonna be
from
promo for
all
Tony,
branches
huh?
of the
Yes, it
United
is.
States
And now I am going to mention the show
who ride
when
motorcycles
we come back
as
from
a
this
hobby.
commercial.
Our mission is to support those who have defended our country
I
and
don't think it's
freedoms.
supposed to make landfall.
Our focus is to help
I'm guessing 10 o'clock.
facilities provide a warm meal, clothing, shelter,
Because it's moving at a pretty good clip.
simply to say thank you
It's
and
pretty close
we have members from
to the
nearly
coast
all
now.
50 states.
It's going to make landfall in the next hour.
Many members continue
Next
to
hour.
serve
So-
in the forces, with several serving in combat areas now. We sponsor and or participate in many motorcycle-related charity events each year. And as a non-profit organization,
I will in just a second.
various veteran care facilities in
I'll mention. Do you want me to read that?
That's up to you.
Combat Veteran Motorcycle
Okay, if I have the time, I will.
and how
We got about 12 minutes, so I got to do a
please visit
quick little
CVMA
update on Henri.
.org.
Well, we're talking about James House and Westons and kind of just
Yeah.
puts it all in music, right?
Yeah.
Just doing sports.
Yeah, and sports. Henri first, though. That's more important.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm just making the sports segment quick.
And we're back here on Middleboro in Review. It is the 22nd of August. All right, real quick update on Henri. It's moving a little bit closer to the coast. It's moving at about 18 miles per hour. I don't know exactly when it's supposed to make landfall. I think it's supposed to make landfall, I'm guessing within the next hour or two, in the area that we mentioned earlier.
Which is the Rhode Island, Connecticut line, still on that track there?
Yeah,
Westerly.
I believe it's still on
Stonington,
the particular route.
Groton, Connecticut, Mystic, Connecticut, Charlestown, Rhode Island. The beach area is pretty much all on Route 1 down there. That's what it's still on line there.
Yes, so we'll keep you updated throughout the day. We'll probably give you an update at 10 o'clock on where it is. Right around 10 or 11 o'clock. If we can, throughout the day, we'll give you updates. I know there's a program is going on as well. But
Well, you're here to
when
too.
I can, yes, I'm here too. When I can update people on it, I will definitely do so. So we have a little bit of a sports segment, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this real quick because we have today in history. We have that coming up in a minute too. But Red Sox not going well at all. They lose to the Rangers 10-1 last night. I'm concerned now. that this is becoming more and more of a problem, that they are losing a lot of games. And this has been really the problem since the All-Star break, since after the All-Star break. And really, it became a major problem after the trade deadline. They've lost a lot of games now, and they are moving deeper and deeper out of a playoff position. And this is concerning because the AL East is very, very good. You cannot afford to play like this if you're the Red Sox, because the Yankees are getting good again. The Rays have been good all year. I mean, the Blue Jays are the Blue Jays. And the Orioles are the Orioles. But, I mean, you have two other great teams, and you're losing all these games, and it's concerning. New England Revolution defeated Cincinnati last night. They now face New York City next week as New England's continuing to really gain momentum, and it's scary. It's scary because they could very well be on their way to another MLS Cup, which would be to a MLS Cup playoff and maybe even final. Chris on the Facebook here, our friend Chris, asks us who will take the World Series. I do not know. I'm not ready to make a prediction just yet. I think there's
Red
two.
Sox. They gotta come back and they gotta win it all.
I hope so. I hope so, but the way they're playing right now, I don't know. But it's too early to make a prediction. We still have, about a month.
Yeah,
about a month left in the season, so
more than a month, right? The regular season ends end of September, right?
yeah. So we got about a month. So
A little more than a month.
a little bit more than a month.
6
weeks.
5 weeks.
It's too early to make a prediction.
Well, give him one. Tell him.
Honestly,
If I know Chris, he wants an answer. He wants an answer now.
Honestly, if I'm looking at it, the Dodgers are doing well.
I say Rays. Why not? No? Just give it the
maybe
Rays.
the Rays.
Why
Maybe the Rays.
I mean, right?
Yeah, maybe the Rays.
They had two teams.
I'm
that
not
won
certain.
last year, right?
It was the Rays and Dodgers last season. I don't know. I can't make a prediction. I don't want to make a prediction. It's still too early. So last night was also SummerSlam for WWE, which is one of the big summer events. Real quick, down the card. New Raw Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton and his tag team partner Riddle defeated AJ Styles. Alexa Bliss defeated Eva Marie. Damian Priest is the new United States Champion, defeating Sheamus. The Usos are still tag team champions on SmackDown. Becky Lynch makes her return last night, defeating SmackDown champion Bianca Belair in about 25 seconds. That was interesting. Drew McIntyre defeated Jinder Mahal. Charlotte Flair is 12-time women's champion, defeating Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. Edge defeated Seth Rollins. Bobby Lashley defeated Goldberg. And in the main event, Roman Reigns defeated John Cena. And Brock Lesnar returned to end the show. So that was SummerSlam 2021. That is your sports segment for today. Real quick, let's read a little... Don gave us a little thing, and I lost it here. Have Don get it back up. While he does that...
That's if we'll find it again.
Yes, I don't know why it did that. But the food pantry is offering drive-through service for veterans and has been for, this spring and summer. Sacred Heart Food Pantry has cooperated with the Middleboro Veterans Services Department to furnish food boxes for local veterans. The Greater Boston Food Bank provides the meal boxes. The food pantry will be operating a drive-through distribution service once a month. It is held on the third Tuesday of the month. from 11 a.m. to noon, and it will continue until at least the fall. All veterans and their families from Middleboro, Lakeville, Rochester, and Carver are eligible to use this service. Veterans do not need to pre-register. Just drive in and pick up a box. The Sacred Heart Food Pantry is located at 53 Oak Street in Middleboro. Go into the municipal parking lot behind the food pantry from the Pearl Street entrance. And the next food pantry drive-thru is going to be September 21st. Again, that is a Tuesday, 11 a.m. to noon. So, let's do Today in History real quick. And Dawn is still trying to get...
I think that's gone.
Okay, well,
it, but
it's okay.
I should have clicked it.
If you find it, try to save it, and we will talk about it next week, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Today in History. We have sports-related Today in Histories today. 1989, Nolan Ryan strikes out Ricky Henderson to become the first Major League Baseball pitcher to record 5,000 strikeouts. And Nolan Ryan just had an amazing career with the Rangers. Definitely a Hall of Famer. He was such a great pitcher for them. Unfortunately, the Rangers were, not really in the, World Series picture. But Nolan Ryan was an amazing pitcher for them. 2007, the Texas Rangers, so another Texas Rangers Today in History, defeated the Baltimore Orioles 30-3. Again, I'm going to say that score again. 30-3. The most runs scored by a team in modern MLB history, and that was August 22nd, 2007. Birthdays on this day: William Lewis Douglas, American businessman and politician. He was the 42nd governor of Massachusetts, born on this day in 1845. Born on this day in 1939, Carl Yastrzemski, American baseball player. Amazing baseball player. His grandson, Mike, plays for the Giants, the San Francisco Giants, and has been really good this season. I believe he has 19 home runs this year. He's been doing really well. 1950 on this day, Scooter Libby, American lawyer, politician, chief of staff to the Vice President of the United States. Scooter Libby is 71 today. And on this day, 3 years ago, we lost Ed King, who was an American musician. He was a guitarist for the psychedelic rock band Strawberry Alarm Clock, which was a very popular band. And also, he was the bassist for the southern rock band Leonard Skinner from 1972 to 1975, and then again from 87 to 96. So Ed King, we lost him 3 years ago today. He was 68 years old. Two big bands, Ed King. Two big bands, Strawberry Alarm Clock and Leonard Skinner. Don, any thoughts about that?
Strawberry Alarm Clock. I haven't heard that name in a while. We know a lot about that. It's Jim DuPont. You could probably tell you everything about those bands, those early 60s, mid 60s bands and stuff, and early 70s bands. You probably know every song on that list. It's funny when the three of us sitting there, we're talking music. We were, I think I was doing Middleboro Matters with you.
Yes.
Co-host on that one. And we went in 20 minutes just talking about music. He was in his glory. I could talk to Jim DuPont forever about music. He just knew he's a player, and he's been in the music scene, I guess, for a while, most of his life. So he knows. I think you know a lot. I think I know a lot. I talked to that guy on his era. I mean, we know the music we grew up with, and I taught you. You learned, and then I learned more off you than anybody in my life as far as new releases and new music and stuff. So that's good because you got three people who are all about. I don't know. I think Jim was. Jim's probably. I don't know if I'm 54, 60. Jim's probably 15 years older than me. I'm 30 years older than you, so you got 3 people here, all different generations of music, all coming, sitting at the same wavelength. It's great how music just moves people like that. 3 people who are all different age groups.
Yeah, and we like the similar types of music as well.
A lot of actually Scott told me about Dion. Okay?
Yeah,
he put
Dion,
an album out. Like Scott loved it. Oh yeah, listen, yeah, I did. I listened. I liked it. But Scott was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe how good he is." Oh my,
He was,
and I'm sure he listened to
he
him
is.
off and on when we're growing up, and that was probably what his father listened to. But maybe his father, but maybe people Jim's age or whatnot listen to that. People who are in their like late 60s, early 70s grew up with that. So yeah, it just goes to show that these great musicians are still putting albums out. That's just as good. The talent doesn't go away. It was great. I mean, he said, "You got to listen to this. Just do me a favor, listen to it." And I did. And I was like, "Wow, yeah, blew me away. They were great." And every once in a while, I see it pop up on Facebook, and I listen. So.
All right. Well, 8:01.
Okay.
8:01. So we're gonna cut the music talk a little short today, but yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed. I hope everyone stays safe in this weather.
Use common sense. Just be safe out there. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't.
Yeah.
Be
safe.
I'm not telling you what to do, but I mean,
definitely. And anyone listening in the
not a good day for a Sunday joyride.
Anyone listening in the surrounding Rhode Island, Connecticut border towns as well, stay safe. The storm is right around your path.
Say a prayer to the people in the area, anybody who's affected, and
anyone affected by this storm.
Any first responders, praying a prayer for the first responders who have to go out and work on this, and hope everything just gets through this good. All
right, well, we're gonna say goodbye, and we'll be back next week. We're gonna have a guest next week. We're gonna have a guest. Danny Harmon is gonna be on the not on the show. He's gonna be calling in. We were on with him in February, so he's coming back.
Producer, filmmaker. He has a distantsingle.com. On YouTube, he has about 200 films, and we talked to him in length. He's gonna be calling from Tampa, Florida next week.
All right, so tune in next week, August 29th, 2021. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great week. Yeah, do a 3-minute news. And then now...
They're not talking about the hurricane, so why bother, right?
Yeah, I don't know why they're not doing that.
Maybe they updated it.
Yeah, I think they probably did. Let me update this. Come on, today. Today, please. Any day now? That'd be great. That would be great, please. Thank you. Bye, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed today's program. Again, we have a guest calling in next week. And Chris, I'll be looking into some of the team records for some of the MLB teams, and I maybe have a prediction for you next week. But like I said, I don't know if I want to make a prediction right now because of just is how early it is. Still a month left in the season. So anyway, Chris Reynolds.
Hey, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
You gotta go ride your bike today?
All right, well...
Put your slicker on and ride your bike.
All right, well...
He's crazy.
Well, we'll see you guys next week. And again, Danny Harmon will be on calling in. So, bye-bye, everybody.